Hello, everybody. Welcome back to episode 5 of the 597 podcast. So, these last couple episodes, they've been a little heavy and we might shift it a little bit. Most of you know that we are from this little country called Suriname in South America, which is north of Brazil. So, Kelvin and I are just going to talk about all the things basically that we miss from home, the things we don't miss, and basically how everything changes. You know, when you leave your home, you go back, things that you were used to are usually not the same anymore. So him and I will just be going back and forth about, all the little things we do and don't miss from Suriname. How you doing, Kel?
I'm okay. I'm okay. Just trying to recover a bit, you know? Yeah,
Busy week, busy.
busy
You just
couple of
been busy.
weeks. Not really. Just had some
All right.
time off. I'm trying to recover my body, yeah, from all the football I've been playing recently. Yes, so I wanted to talk about home, just to keep it lighthearted, you know? So,
Yeah.
I, first, hold it, just a little interesting, um, do you think that us being from South America means that when we move to a different climate, like a cold country like in America or the UK, that it might not be quite perfect for us?
Firsthand, when I first came to America, I thought I had an allergic reaction to something in America. If I didn't know if it was the
Yeah.
soap, I had no idea what it was. But dry skin, because back home, like in Suriname, the air is
Mm.
so moist. It's so humid. So you're sitting and you're sweating. So your skin is basically always moist. So I came to America in December,
Yeah.
peak of winter. It's cold. I shower like 2, 3 times a day because I'm Surinamese. And all of a sudden, my thigh, red bumps everywhere, my inside of my thigh. And I asked my wife, I was like, Anne, I think something is up with me. I think I ate something. I have like a allergic reaction because I just start like
Mm.
itching. But what happens is because it's so cold here and the air is so dry, when you shower 2, 3 times a day and you don't lotion your
Oh,
body,
yeah.
it just breaks out. And I'm not gonna lie, dude. I was like, Anne, something like, what's wrong? What's wrong with me? So she was like, oh, you need lotion. And then I discovered that when you move to a colder climate, lotion is your best friend. So externally, yes, I don't think it's, our body's not
Mm.
acclimated, right? Like you're not used to it. Second, I'm in Michigan right now, so there's like less sun time and like
Mm.
winter is a little bit thicker. It's
Yeah,
colder
yeah,
here
yeah.
up north, right? Than in South America or in Ohio when I
Mm.
first was. So I think you also probably have some type of vitamin D deficiency. I don't know if it's the same in England because I know you guys have a lot of rainy days and it's very gloomy. Is that true? I don't know.
To be honest, the last couple of years it's been a little bit different. Our summers have been amazing the last couple of years. Just like 20, 23 degrees and up. Like it was even like 26 recently. But generally speaking, yes, it's a lot of overcast, just clouds everywhere. It's annoying. Clouds. Yeah, we get quite a bit of rain. So but it's not like back home. When it's rainy season, when it rains all the time, it's not like that at all. It's
Yeah,
just a little bit. You know, it is it
yeah.
is it is gloomy. It is
I
gloomy.
I joke a lot with my colleagues or people that I meet here, like when they say, "Oh, it's gonna rain," and I like you can actually work in the rain here. You can be
Oh,
active. Like when it rains in South America
yeah.
in Suriname, my wife explains it like she said, Miguel, when I first saw it, it's like a river was falling from the sky,
Yeah.
right? It's like
No.
it's no joke because we have 3 months of like rainy season and then 3 months of big rainy
Y-
season. Is it 3 months? I think so, right?
I don't know. Yeah, I think yeah,
I'm not
I
sure.
think they're very equal, aren't they?
Yeah, and it's just when it pours for days. So here you get like 15 minutes of rain.
That is something I used to enjoy when I was younger. Playing in the rain. when it
Yeah.
rains so heavily. Like I
Yeah.
always remember people saying, "Oh, don't play when it first starts raining. You gotta wait for it to rain a little bit harder." I don't know. Like
Because I don't know why too. Because there's like you're
yeah,
gonna get sick, but the heavy rain doesn't make you sick. Yeah.
yeah.
There's there's a lot
So,
of things that I don't understand.
what about humidity? Because Suriname is very humid, right? This is a rainforest
Yeah,
country we're
yeah.
talking about.
I
Does that change the way we breathe? Or is it harder for us to breathe here compared to there?
so I was in
Oh,
Arizona.
very dry.
Yeah, it's like deserty, mountain, rocky, and when we touched down, I felt like SpongeBob when he when, when when he got pulled out of the
Oh,
ocean.
well,
Do
it's
you
like
remember
when
the
he's visiting
cartoon?
Sandy in her air thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's rough. It's hard. But for me, the dry air is more related to the itchiness that I feel. It's not necessarily harder to breathe for me.
Mm.
It's just the itchiness. I'm just like itchy and miserable all the time.
I wonder if pollution also plays a role, considering the rainforest. Like it cleans the air, doesn't it? It's eating all the bad stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas here, it's
Yeah.
very there's a lot more cars. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of cars back
Yeah.
home, but where we are
Yeah.
from, deeper in the jungle, it's not
Yeah.
so. So
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. And there's also more forest,
Yeah.
like you said. There's probably the filtration is probably better than it is. The one thing I do like about America, like back home, like if you have like like Down syndrome, or if you're a little bit mentally challenged, or have a mental, what's the word,
Disorder.
uh, yeah, disorder, it's hard to function in society. You're not gonna find a job as
Mm.
easy. In America, there's a bunch of grocery stores that you'll see that hire, or restaurants that hire people with disabilities, and that's something that is very beautiful. And I wish that Suriname could adopt programs like that for people with disabilities, because usually
It's like
people back home
Sparta.
they just kind of get left. Yeah,
Just get
basically.
left to rot.
Yeah, it's so that's one thing about Suriname that's I would say they could
That that
learn
little
about
part just
America.
reminded me of that video you shared recently. That guy talking about black people in Suriname and America, how you got more opportunities in America, and that was.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah,
he got it spot
yeah.
on.
Like, but it's kind of like that. Like, if special needs people have opportunities in America and England, and because we have disabilities acts and stuff, where they're not allowed to be discriminated against, but you don't have that protection back home. It's very backwards in that
No,
way. But
yeah,
but even then, he's like, we've talked about it before, where if we go back, what we don't have any opportunities. Our
no,
experience doesn't mean anything there, and that's
yeah,
sad. I think that's one thing I don't miss about there.
it is.
Trying to get a job there, any good job, it's very, unless you know someone, it's very hard.
Yeah,
Ugh. Fresh fruit, like plucking fruit from trees. That it like, have you found that there? I mean, obviously you might get an apple tree or something, but
no. I I live in an apartment complex, dude. The freshest fruit I pluck is from the Kroger store, the Kroger grocery store.
I don't. Do you even like fruit?
I
I don't
don't,
see
but
it.
my wife is forcing me to eat them.
Okay.
My wife is forcing me to eat them now because I need to eat more fruit, but I don't like fruit.
Okay. Okay, that's okay. I love fruit. I
Yeah,
love
yeah,
fruit.
yeah. I don't. What's your favorite fruit
Um,
in Suriname?
green mangoes. Yeah,
Just like green
yeah,
mangoes
groene
with
man, yeah,
salt,
salt of opasane, pickled green
I
mangoes.
think
Yeah.
vinegar. Yeah, yeah.
Uh, and pomerak.
I have sensitive teeth. Oh, I have sensitive teeth. I can't.
Really?
I can't. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's not. I don't like them.
That's it's outrageous to me.
That's like I called my mom like
Yeah,
2 days ago, and she was
yeah.
eating that. Yeah.
So most people
I
like
was like,
that type of
man,
stuff,
no.
right? I think.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
You know
well,
what I miss from Suriname? Salt of Lace.
what? I was trying to explain this to my girlfriend the other day. What is it? Beef? Okay.
Yeah. So salt flakes is so back in the day, when they didn't have
Mm,
refrigerators, they would salt the
It's
meat
yeah.
to preserve it. Yeah. But then over time, it just became a delicacy where people just use salted meat now or
Yeah.
salted beef. It's just basically beef in a bucket of water
Oh,
with
it's
salt in it,
brine.
and you seal it. Yeah, and just leave it there for like a week.
Sure. I
I do
wonder if
miss that.
anyone makes like, cause my mom, she loves that as well. Cause
Yeah.
one thing that I've discovered, that I've figured out recently, is that Suriname, like a lot of food that I like, I've enjoyed there. It's cheap food,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's
Oh yeah.
canned, it's nasty, but the way they make it is so delicious. Like some
Yeah.
ones, like my mom would hate, was like tomato sardine. Sorry, like the way Oma
Mm-hmm.
Wally makes it with rice. Oh my goodness, it's so
Yeah.
delicious.
But tomato sardine is not
No,
a
no,
cheap
it's not
food
cheap
anymore,
anymore.
dude.
Not,
It
but
used to
what I
be
mean is
cheap
cheap
food, yeah.
by Western standards. So you can buy a
Yeah.
tin of that stuff for, you know, for pennies. Like, it's not pennies, but like
Yeah.
30p or something. And then like corned
Yeah.
beef. That's another one.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, I miss corned
and
beef.
yeah,
Toperta.
oh, like I still
Toperta
buy that
Wartela.
here. You can buy a can, like a glass jar of it. It's not much, but it's
Okay.
delicious. It's like nobody buys it. Nobody
Yeah.
else is buying it, but
Yeah.
sausages. You know,
We have
like
oh
chicken hot
sausages,
dogs.
yes.
Just buying a pack of
Yeah.
10, it's so cheap, but it's delicious. If you make that in a Surinamese way, it's
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah. We have a huge store
Mm.
in Ohio, which I'm pretty close to, called Jungle Gyms, and he has a international store. So it's Japan,
Oh,
China.
nice.
He has
Yeah.
Asia. He has India. He has Germany, Europe, and he has a Holland section.
Mm.
So I find like bruine bonen there. I find suikermuisjes, hagelslag. I find frikandel
Mm.
sauce. So there's a bunch of things that I could find there. So I'm always, and they have like a Caribbean section, so I can find like Caribbean ketchup,
Oh,
like Mama Mabel's.
I miss that stuff.
Yeah.
That's my
I know.
favorite. I thought it was
Yeah,
like Aunt Mabel's,
yeah,
Auntie Mabel. That the
yeah,
spicy ketchup they do. Oh my goodness, that's my favorite ketchup
yeah,
on the planet. Okay.
yeah. You could Amazon some of those
Well,
stuff, right? I
I've
think you
I've
can.
bought recently from Amazon Milo. You can buy
Okay.
Milo, and I have previously bought Vruchtenhagel because that's my favorite hagelslag.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
yeah, I and Aldi here was doing, or little one of them was doing a little. Every month they do like a little different country. Like sometimes it's France, sometimes it was Holland recently. So I bought some Dutch stuff. So that's.
Yeah.
But I mean, we live like 15 minutes on the plane from Holland, so it's not like it's too far. But
Yeah.
buying Dutch
Yeah.
stuff is not cheap.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, I do miss I miss the food. You know what makes Surinamese food so good? What I
It's
think
love.
is you love, but also all the different cultures have learned to use each other's
Mm,
spices. Right? Like you could go to a Japanese person with a V,
yeah.
Japanese from the islands of Java,
Indonesia.
because we don't have Japanese. Yeah, Indonesia. We don't have Japanese people from Japan. The Japanese people, they make bami, they make this noodle thing.
Mm.
But what happens is now the black people back home started making bami as well with their with their own
Yeah.
ingredients. So you don't just it's just a different type
Mm.
of bami, right? So it's it's so intertwined. All the cultures use each other's spices, and I think that makes the food so good. Because if you think about it, here in America, there's Mexican food, there's Italian food, but you cannot use the spices intertwined. Like you cannot use
Mm.
Italian seasoning for your taco, if that makes sense, right? But you could use trasi, which is a Japanese. You could use it to make chicken. You could use it to make
Mm.
so many things, right? Um, so I think that's basically why the food is so good because it's not just the original spices. It's like cultures have learned to use each other's
Yeah.
spices to make their own food, and it's so good.
Surinamese food
I miss it.
that's the main thing I miss, to be honest. Like,
Yeah. Do you know? Do you know the guy on YouTube called David's Been Here?
oh no.
He
Yeah.
went to Suriname. He lives in Miami, and he actually, I think, started a business partnership with the Surinamese guy that I shared his video with. He makes like hot sauce and stuff
Okay.
like that. I think they formed like a partnership. They made like some hot sauces. But yeah, no, he went to Suriname, so I would go look him
Okay.
up if you guys want to know a little bit of Surinamese food. David's been here, Suriname. It's a good episode.
So, what's your favorite Surinamese food?
I think I want to go. I think I want to go standard rice, bruine bonen, pom paste. Right, so like the combination of those three. And then patat shawarma is
From
like,
Wally's.
yeah, but yeah. And this is another thing. Okay, so in Suriname, so shawarma is a Middle Eastern dish. It got popular in the Netherlands, which we were a colony from, and then it made its way to Suriname. But the patat shawarma in Suriname is not the same as the patat shawarma in the Netherlands or the patat shawarma in the Middle East.
It's the
right?
nicest patat shawarma I've ever had in my life in Suriname. Because
Yeah,
anything I get
because
here
we use each
is
other's
just not as
spices.
tasty.
No.
Like that combination, the ketchup they use. Like, I don't know what it is about the Surinamese ketchup, and I think it's also because. Do you refrigerate your ketchup? Yeah, I mean we do that, but it's not.
I do.
It's like this. It's like almost a little bit clear. It has a clearness to it, whereas the ketchup here, you can't see through it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It's dark.
So
Yeah,
I don't know
it's
what
concentrated.
it's something like it's sweet. Like yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, right. The shawarma there is the finest shawarma.
Yeah, it's the best. I tried shawarma here in America as well. But like I said, we use
Chinese is
so
different
we use
everywhere as well.
each other's spice.
So how's how
Yeah, I like Chinese food
in America?
Better.
Okay.
No, in Suriname. I don't. It's close. It's the closest. So Chinese food here is the closest thing that I had to like a bami. Right. So and their bourbon chicken is the closest thing I had to a Surinamese barbecue.
That's something I'd love to try again. Surinamese barbecue.
Yeah.
Next year.
I made Surinamese barbecue for my UPS colleagues before I left, and they said they enjoyed it.
Family and friends, of course. That's a big one, I think. Missing family and friends.
Yeah, I miss my mom a lot. I miss my direct family, like my sisters, because I'm not really close with all of our other family members. You know, like my mom's aunt, and you know, like on my dad's side of the family. But like my direct family, because we're so close. Yeah, I miss them. I miss Chantal's cooking too. Chantal is like an amazing cook.
I think
she's.
I wouldn't say any of them are bad cooks, to be honest.
No, yeah.
Because anything simple in Suriname you can make delicious. A fried egg.
Yeah.
An omelette. Oh.
Yeah. What's the basic spice in because here it's like salt and pepper, basically. Salt and pepper.
Yeah. Don't get. Is there good food here? There's good food, like Chinese. I think the Chinese here is the closest I've come to Chinese in Suriname. So it is very tasty, like the noodles, the spicy noodles and stuff. And they do like a salt and pepper. So it's like, I think they call it like picante stuff back home. You like picante ribs and so that. It's very close to that. Not as tasty.
But you don't have chow mein moxie, right?
No, we have they call it special, chow mein special. Is it special? Okay. So it's like it's everything, all the meats, but they don't do the meat like Suriname. You know, the meat is very specific there. The way they cut it and the But look, don't get me wrong. Like one of my favorite dishes here is a big breakfast. Have you ever had one?
I don't think so.
It's probably our national dish. So it's like sausage, bacon, eggs, beans, mushrooms, tomato, black pudding. So it's a breakfast. Massive plate of breakfast food. It's delicious with toast or fried bread and hash browns and stuff. Yeah, it's very like savory, very delicious. But when it comes to flavor, I wouldn't say English food is very flavorful. To be honest, I think it's quite bland here
Yeah.
compared, relatively speaking.
Yeah.
Because like my mom, she had this thing recently where she made Surinamese food and she hosted some
Mm-hmm.
friends and family, and everyone was.
What'd she make?
I think she made moksalisi,
Okay.
and I want to say bruine bonen.
Okay.
But she also made like the eggs. I don't know what to call them. What do you call them back home? Gevulde ei.
Gevulde
Yeah.
ei?
And
Okay.
yeah,
Like deviled
and the
eggs?
pink stuff, which I hate. Yeah, I
Usarisla.
hate that. I've always hated that. Do you like that?
I don't hate it, but I don't like it.
So she made that, and people
Yeah.
freaking loved the food, man, because they taste
Yeah.
a little bit of flavor. Like my girlfriend, she loves
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Like I make oli sardine, right? So just onions, bit of pepper, salt, and vinegar, right? And she she loves it. It's so delicious compared to, because she used to like she hated. She grew up hating like corned beef, but if you make it up in Suriname, it's delicious. You know, so she's like, what was my dad doing wrong? You know, that's what she's saying. What was he? How did he do that?
That's funny. Another thing in Suriname, sandwiches are breakfast, right? Like you'll eat the sandwich in the morning.
This is something I'm trying to explain to my girlfriend. Like having a broodje in the morning is normal.
Yeah.
Meat and veg in a sandwich. Oh
yes.
Yeah.
It's so good. And then our big meal is lunch. So 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, we eat rice with chicken or rice with soup. And that's another thing that my wife was like, what? You put rice in soup?
Soda.
You put you put macaroni in soup? Like what? It's very, you put potato in soup? Like it's very starchy, you know? But yeah, you eat everything with rice at 1 o'clock. If you have pasta, you put rice, right? You put rice with everything. And then 6, 7 o'clock, you eat like a broodje ei, which is a sandwich with egg, and that's your dinner. And then you go.
You
to
could
bed.
have rice. You
In
could have
America,
rice for dinner as well.
Yeah, you could also have rice. Yeah, but like the majority of people will eat like a broodje.
What I normally would have is the same thing as lunch. You'd have some more left over, and then you have a little bit for dinner.
Yeah. But I would say the majority of people would eat a sandwich in the morning, rice during the 1 o'clock, and then if there's leftovers, they might have that, or they'll have like a broodje, right? Another sandwich. In America, you wake up, you eat your donuts or your coffee with your pancakes, cereal, and then you do something for lunch. I don't know what they do for lunch, but then the big meal is like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, which I'm not the biggest fan of, because when I eat, I go to bed. It's your body's not
just sitting there
moving enough to burn. Yeah. So, but I do it anyways because it's the custom here. But yeah. But if I could change it, I would just have a sandwich for dinner.
Yeah.
Because I don't eat breakfast. Yeah.
What the bread's different here in America. I heard the bread's quite sweet in America.
I eat whole grain bread, so
the brown stuff with all the
I eat whole
seeds
with the bird seeds. Yeah. Because you need fiber, man. I've learned so much with my nutrition course that the majority of things that we put in our body is not equipped to break it down. You just need grains, right? Like what's it called? Fiber. You need fiber, right? Like pasta is not something we're supposed to eat. Dairy is not something we're supposed to consume. Like all of these things that they've made popular is not what we used to eat, back in the day before all of these refined products came along. It's whole grains, meat, vegetables.
Well, that's what it was like in the past, wasn't it? I think that's why people were healthier back in the day, because they didn't have access to all this refined stuff. Yeah. But this is something that I really want to get into, making my own bread. Like I think anything you'd make yourself would be infinitely better than what you find in the store.
I don't know about England, but I think in America, and don't quote me on this, I probably should have a second screen here to like double check all of these things that I'm throwing out.
Yeah.
But I think in America, you're allowed like the content. You know, when you buy something in the back,
Oh,
what's it called?
the ingredients in all.
The
Yeah,
label. Yeah,
yeah,
the label, the
yeah.
percentage that they say, you know, like 1% sugar and 30 grams of this, 40 grams of that. They're allowed to be up to 20% off.
I saw. Oh, I don't remember who it was. I don't know if it was Veritasium or Vsauce or someone. They bought a bunch of sandwiches in New York, and they all have the label on saying what's in it, what's not in it, and
Yeah.
then they took it into an actual calorifier, so they burnt it to get the amount of calories
Yeah.
inside, and it was completely off on every single one. So
Yeah.
that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
so 20% either direction.
Yeah.
That's insane. So if it says like
Yeah,
1%,
yeah.
protein, it could have like no protein in there.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah. No, they have to. There's like a there's like a there's like a baseline, but it could be, I think, up to 20% off. But don't quote me because I've learned about
That's
this, but I
scary.
didn't really retain it. Yeah.
Let's talk about some things I don't miss. I don't miss the buses. But having said that, driving in Suriname sucks as well. It's hard.
Yeah.
How does anyone get anywhere there? Oh my goodness.
It's almost like what's it called? Organized chaos. There's an organization to the madness, right? Like there's some type of, people just kind of know. Now, with that being said, there's a lot of accidents, but but you just kind of, it becomes natural.
It's very, like, you don't go
sense.
with the attitude from America or England there. Just relax. Just take it
yeah.
easy. Enjoy the music.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be sat in the car for a long time if you're going anywhere.
You know, it's funny you said that. And my wife was asking me, and we were talking about this. I don't miss the public transportation. Like I don't miss that at all. You know what happened once? So, okay. So I was in a PL, right? I was in a bus, and the guy just stopped in the middle of the street. He went to the Brom Pizza Pot. You know, so in Suriname, the main road, and then you have like a bike or a moped. We call them brommers, which is like a small motorcycle. They have their own lanes. And sometimes the bus will use their lanes.
Illegally.
Because they're crazy drivers. Yeah. Illegally, you're not allowed to do that. Or they'll stop on that lane. So this guy just stopped, and he was like, man, sa Eva. He was like, give me 5 minutes. Walks out of the bus, right? Finds a mobile phone pole, like an electric pole, whips it out, and starts peeing. Like he just starts, dude's just peeing, right?
On a road.
And,
there's people going by. Everyone can see it.
Yeah, on the road. Yeah, people driving by. Yeah. Like he shakes it. He does this. Comes back into the bus. I'm a germaphobe, okay? Like, not as much as I used to be, but I was like, I'm not touching, because I have to pay this guy, because you have to pay him with quarters. You have to pay him with quarters or pennies, or what you want to call it. So when the time came, when I stopped the bus because I needed to get off, he reached his hands out. He didn't even wash his hands afterward with water or something like that. He reached his hands out, and I looked at him, and then I put it on the floor next to him. And he looked at me. He was like, Samsa Dogla, which means, what's wrong? Dogla. So I'm a Dogla back home. I'm like mixed raced. I don't have a specific race. So they call you Dogla, which is basically a mutt. And he said, Samsa Dogla. I said, dude, you just peed and you didn't even wash your hands. And he looked at me. He's like, when you go to McDonald's, you don't see what they're doing there in the kitchen, yet you eat their food. You don't want to pay me in my hand? I was like, dude, you didn't wash your hands. I'm not going to argue with you. And I just walked off.
Yeah.
I don't miss that.
The loud music in the buses, that's another thing. You wouldn't catch that anywhere in the West.
I used to like that when I was younger, though.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
The middle seats as well, that's something I always hated. You know, the klepstoelen.
Yeah, especially when you're tired.
You have to keep getting up, and it hurts your back. Like,
yeah.
Ugh.
You know what I don't miss from public transportation? You know, you're tired. Either you come from work, it's like 5 o'clock. Everybody's sweaty because it's hot. it stinks in there because
Do
everybody
you know what's
sweats.
worse on
You
top of
smell their
that? When it
sweats.
rains and they close the windows.
That's what I'm going to. So now it's hot, right? They close the doors, the windows are closed, it's raining, there's no AC. It's just not pleasant, and I don't miss it. And I know, like people have to go to work, people have to go home. Not everybody has a car, not everybody has transportation. That's probably the one of the worst things about public transportation. It's chaotic. When I first flew to America, I had a Surinamese mentality. When you go into a bus, you don't wait for people, you push your way through. Because everybody's trying to get home, right? There's no, we're gonna have you sit first. No, like everybody is pushing in. The
Yeah,
bus is, the door is that wide. One person fits through it. Everybody's trying to get through it. Some people will take their baby, they'll run to the back of the bus and plant their child. I said, hold this seat for us. Baby doesn't even speak. They come back and try to get in the bus. They're like, hey, I need to get back there. My baby is sitting.
yeah.
Right? When we were getting off the plane, that was my mentality. I wasn't waiting on people in front of me to get up and walk. And this one lady wasn't having it, man. She was not having it. Because I didn't know. Like, I'm Surinamese. We push our way through things. She blocked me off and she looked at me. And I looked at my wife. She's like, yeah, we have to wait. They go row by row. I was like, okay, I'm sorry. I didn't know. I thought this was a payout.
On a plane, I've never experienced whenever I've been on a plane, they always say that, when we do the seatbelt sign, we'll go row by row. Never happens. There's always someone jumping up behind us and he's going. So it's chaos. Planes are chaos, man.
I will say Americans are really good at, like, when it comes to like public, what's the word?
Etiquette.
Like, yeah. They follow the majority of people follow the rules. I want to say that.
Having said that, on planes it's like that here and on the continent, but buses and trains, people are they tend to be very polite. So they wait for everyone to get off, and then we start getting on. It's just and you always thank the bus driver when you leave. Like, thank you, So it's nice.
Yeah.
The poor internet connection. Internet's quite poor there, and having thought about it now, it's expensive as well because you have to constantly reset your data, right? I have to apply for it.
I don't know how that works because in America everything's basically unlimited, right? Like you have unlimited 5G, unlimited 4G, whatever, right? You pay a monthly fee. In Suriname, you buy like 2 gig for $10, and it's you watch 5 YouTube videos and then it's gone, and then you have to buy another 10 gigs for whatever. Why do you think the internet company in Suriname don't go online?
I think it's money. I think they're fleecing the public. And also, like, have you noticed the internet's faster here compared to Suriname? I think it's them. They're limiting the service just that much that it works okay, but not so for them. I think they're leaving a little bit of leeway that they could unleash it. There could be super fast internet there, unlimited if they wanted to, but they don't want to. They want to give you a little bit at a time, so they can make as much money from you as possible. Plus, there's not much competition there. I mean, there is now, but even that, it's not really.
No. Yeah.
But, yeah.
I don't know. I always wondered that. I was like, why do you have to keep buying data?
I think it's the same over there. Like here, everyone has Wi-Fi at home as well. We all have our internet at home, and we all have unlimited internet away. So, whereas in Suriname, all you've got, unless you're rich, is your phone, right? That's the only data you've got. So you rely heavily on that. That's another reason why I wanted to shorten the podcast, because if you think about people having to spend so much data trying to watch this, you don't want to watch an hour-long freaking video. Data.
Yeah. Like my mom in the back doesn't really have internet, right? She needs to get data every month, and it runs out sometimes before the month is over, so she has to wait a couple of days and go without internet.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know, man. I know, it's a developing country, but I'm of the opinion, man, like, it's such a small country. There shouldn't be
No.
poverty. Like, there should not be poverty in Suriname because there's abundant resources, right? But it's like small majority of people. Excuse me, a small majority of people enjoy the what's it called, the
Yeah.
fruits of the country,
Yeah.
right? So yeah.
Like, how does it even work there?
Yeah.
Because I know here you need a high credit score so you can get a mortgage
Yeah.
to buy a house, right? But
Yeah.
how does anyone even get a house there?
And so, I know for us, like my dad acquired a lot of land, right? So he acquired a lot of land. So he passed on land to everybody, right? And he built like what, 3 of the houses on those lands.
Yeah.
Right? So he would build his own houses and then people would move into him. Like he built Omanoni's house with his brother.
Really?
Right? And then Omanoni passed and then the house went to Tante Maureen. So Tante Maureen lived there for a while. And then I think that piece of land belongs to a garden. And then next door, Tante Maureen is building her house. I think Care for You was built by your mom, right?
No, but that was built. Oba Boli built that original house, didn't he?
Yeah. Originally, yeah. And then the one next to Tante Maureen, which is our original home.
Yeah.
My dad built that one.
That house never looked finished.
My dad helped.
Whenever I went there,
because it was like that house was like a Lego project that you work on the weekends, and then you have stretches that you just don't work on.
Do you remember the toilet? They had the pulling mechanism, like a big old toilet that you pull.
Yeah. Yeah. The water that leaves the bathroom is just a hole that goes outside. And then sometimes frogs and snakes would come in. Through that hole. Oh, man. I told my wife that we had an outhouse. She's like, what? It's like, we had an outhouse growing up. It wasn't until I was older we got a toilet. And most of the fancy things we got was because my dad worked for Billington and they would give you bonuses. So sometimes you would just receive a toilet or a fan, a clock, a TV, like, as bonuses. It was a good company that he worked for. That's how we got most of the things we had. Because my dad was very, he doesn't necessarily care about comfort, right? Like he's a very, very jungle, hardworking. Hey, you just need 8 hours to shut your eye. It doesn't matter where you do it, in a hammock or on the floor, right?
Yeah.
So most of the nice things we got was from that company.
The house has just got so many memories,
Oh yeah, some really good memories too. You remember? I don't think you remember this. So you and I were showering once, and then I told you, "Can you do this?" Then I shoved my head into the becken because there's a tub. You fill the tub and then you use a can or a mug.
Yeah.
A koba, yeah, and then you wash yourself. And I said, "Can you do this?" So I shot my head into the tub, hold my breath for like 2 seconds, and then I came up and I busted my head open.
No.
Do you remember? No. I busted my head open and it started like just bleeding. Because the faucet, like with the force that I came up, it poked a hole in my head, and then I walked to the living room, and like my ear was just like blood was just like bleeding. I needed to get stitches. I have like a dent right now. Like I have a dent in my head. I was like 4 years old or something like that. 4 or 5. I remember that story specifically. Oh man.
I remember getting hit by
Ugh,
you with a plank. I don't know
why? Oh, you know
why.
why it was? Because you popped my soccer ball.
I popped your soccer ball.
It was on
Yeah.
my birthday. Yeah, I have a picture. I have a picture. I have a picture of
Yeah.
us. I was holding the soccer ball, and I got a soccer ball as a. It was
Yeah.
my birthday, and then you kicked it into a awara tree or something like that, and then it popped. And I had gotten it
Yeah.
that day, but I don't know if that was the reason I
Yeah.
hit you with the plank. But I remember you popping my soccer ball, and I was so sad.
Oh man, I owe you a soccer ball.
You remember? Do you remember that you used to make your own theme music as you were playing?
No.
Do you remember that? So you know how music, like when you're watching like
Yeah.
Mission Impossible, it goes like
Yeah.
dun 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 dun. When you and I would play Police and Thief, you would make your own theme music.
Really?
You'd be like dun 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 dun. I do remember
I
that.
don't,
That was funny.
no, I don't remember
Oh
that at
man.
all. Freaking hell.
uh, oh man. Some days, like even if you go back to race deck, it's not the same.
No. It's
It's not.
busy. It's
Everything's
busy up
changed.
front.
Yeah, it's so busy. It's just not the same. And like everywhere changes. It doesn't matter. You know, you go there 10 years before you go there 10 years later. It's a different place. Nothing stays the same.
Mm.
It's yeah. I get nostalgic sometimes. Just thinking about playing in the front
Mm.
yard, or like like walking from Opa Bali's house to Oma Nani's house, playing with Picky and
Mm.
Clancy, like come back, playing soccer. You remember when you stayed like 2012 when we would go
Yeah.
up front and play soccer with
Mm.
those guys? At I don't even know where they play soccer now. I don't even think they play soccer. Everybody's trying to be, I don't know, TikTok star
Yeah.
now, and
Like nobody plays
So
anymore, do they? No kids. It's sad.
yeah, yeah,
I think people are growing
yeah,
up too soon.
yeah. It's technology, man. TikTok, Instagram. It's you know that's what's popular now,
Mm.
right? So back in the day, it's like who knows how to give as many panas as possible, right? Like,
Yeah.
like that's what it was. But now it's how many followers do I have? you know,
It's,
it's unnecessarily evil though.
mm.
It's necessary. It's good that we could see what's going around in the world, but then again, we're also being corrupted at the same time by all the bad things that we have so much access, so easy access to these days. Yeah. If you've liked this episode, please consider giving us a like. Please consider subscribing, hitting that notification button so you are always up to date when we drop a new episode. We're also on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Amazon. I need to remember that. Amazon. Also, Kelvin is gonna put the email in the description below. If you have any questions, anything you want to add and want to ask us, don't feel free sending us a email. Also, don't forget to head to Facebook and give us a follow there. We post short contents, little snippets of what we've talked about as well. See you next time.
Nice.